In this video, we are going to go over some basics of personal finance and introduce the concept of time value of money. Personal financial planning, what is it? As you see here, the definition is short, simple, straight to the point. The process of managing your money to achieve personal economic satisfaction. Now, it says personal economic satisfaction. That implies that it may be different for different people. Some people like to travel more than they like to having a fancy car. Some people like to have a fancier car and travel less. So this personal economic satisfaction is going to be different for everybody. And you just going to have to identify what works for you within your own constraints. The financial planning process is typically described in 6 steps. Now, each one of these steps can be broken down into lots of sub-steps, but these are the key points. As you can see, number 1, determine your current financial situation. Before you start planning, before you start thinking of what you want to do, how you're going to do it, you first have to establish, where am I now? What is my situation right now? And there's a way to do it through some financial statements and some ways to organize in order to identify properly what is your current financial situation. Then you want to develop your financial goals. So now that you know where you are, we want to establish where you want to go. So what is your end goal or your end game? Number 3, identify alternative courses of action. Okay, so 1, this is where I am. 2, this is where I want to go or want to be. 3 is, which are the different ways in which I can get there? I am here now. I'm going to identify the different ways in which I can get to where I want to be. That's number 3. Then number 4, it's a lot more steps, as you can see there. You have to evaluate those alternatives of the paths in which you can achieve your goal. And more on that as we go through the course, but that's the key point in number 4. Number 5, create and implement your financial actual plan. Now that you have the alternative paths, you can get into the details of how you're going to do it. Number 6, review and revise the financial plan. So you get started with your plan of action. And every so often, depends on the situation, could be every 3 months, could be every 6 months, could be every year. It is recommended that no more than a year goes by before you review and you revise. If nothing has changed and things are going according to plan, then you can just leave it as is and continue. If something in your life has changed, then you can go ahead and revise the financial plan in order to adjust to your new situation. And those are basically the 6 steps. Here's more in detail. Determine your current financial situation. You want to evaluate your income, how much money you make, your savings, how much is going out with your living expenses, what kind of debt do you have, credit card, cars, home mortgages, etc. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and prepare a list. You want to go ahead and prepare a list. That's one of your first steps. This is your balance sheet. You want to go ahead and list all your assets. And you want to list all your debts as well. So here starts with current assets, meaning short-term assets. And we'll go more in detail of that later. And then you also want to list all the debts you have, credit cards, car loans, etc. While determining your current financial situation, there's this step here that says match financial goals to current income and potential earning power. This is now moving towards that step number 2, where, okay, if this is how much income I have, this is how much savings I have now. Am I at the level of savings I want to be or I should be? And then you're going to start setting your goals according to that situation you find yourself. financial planning process. So how do you develop your financial goals? Now, this will be different for everybody, but identify feelings about money and the reasons for those feelings. I know it sounds like an emotional thing, but yes, money can make a lot of people very emotional. A quick example of what they mean there. Some people like to see large amounts of money in their savings account, brokerage account, etc. Some people say, no, I don't need a lot of money there, but I would like to have a big house. So you start developing these financial goals and how you feel about that. And the reason I'm always saying one or the other, because there's always a trade-off. You're not going to be able to have it all. You're going to have to choose which things you prioritize over others. And those are your feelings about money. Determine the source of your feelings about money, facts or influence of others. Typically, the way you were raised, not only the quality of life in which you were raised, but the values your parents instilled on you and things like that. Determine the basis of your financial priorities, social pressures, household needs, or desires. Social pressures, a very common thing in these days, more than ever, with social media. People that like to keep up certain appearances. I'm not here to say if it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is that if that's important to you, you are then stating that you are going to be spending money on that, or that's one of your goals. Household needs, depending on your family situation, and desires, that's pretty much your wants. Decide on specific financial goals to pursue for your situation. Now, let's just to talk about the social pressure ones, keeping up with the Joneses, like they say. If your current income is a certain level and you want to respond to social pressures, you still have to understand that you can only do so much with your income. A lot of people start getting into debt in order to go up on the social status, but that's not it's not sustainable long term. It eventually comes back and it destroys you. But that also applies to desires. Things that you want, you start spending money on, and you start getting into debt when your income couldn't cover. More on that as we go through the chapters and the rest of the course. Identify alternative courses of action. Common courses of action include continue the same course of action. If you are content with your current situation and you seem to be heading in the direction that to achieve those goals, there's nothing wrong to say, like, I'm actually doing it the way I think is a good course of action to achieve my goals. So not changing your course of action is an option. Now, if you can improve on your current course of action, then you start making some changes. If you're not in a good path, then you definitely want to change your course of action. And that's where they say things like expand the current situation. Let's say your current situation is good, but you want to go ahead and you've got a pay raise so you can improve on your savings or improve on bringing down debt. Change the current situation. As I said, small adjustments, big adjustments, any change is always welcome. Always keep in mind, however, that continuing on your current course of action is an option. And take a new course of action. Of course, if you change it, or you're already taking a new course of action, or you can just completely throw away your current plan and start a fresh new one, completely different. Creativity and decision making is vital for effective choices. Yes, this is true, but at the same time, you need information. The more you learn about the different financial tools and financial alternatives out there, the more creative you can get. Electing to do nothing can be a dangerous alternative. Now, the do nothing here is not about don't change it. No, like we said, if you are in a course of action that is getting to your goals, then that's a no change. A do nothing situation is when you're not planning, you're not evaluating, you're doing absolutely nothing. Step 4, evaluate alternative choices. We're still on step 4. It's the second slide on step 4, evaluating alternative choices. Now, consequences of your choices. Now, I know the word consequences always sounds like a negative thing. Here, just a neutral term, because we're going to talk about opportunity cost. This is a very, very important concept that comes from economics that has a big impact on how you make choices. It's pretty much what you give up by making a choice. And the most fundamental, basic way I can say this when it comes to financial planning is what we say consume now or consume later. That means you can spend money now and don't save it and invest it, or vice versa. Do not spend money there now and do save it, do invest it. So that's your opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar you cannot save or invest or goes towards retirement, etc. to meet your other goals. So that's one example, but opportunity cost applies to everything. Every time you make a choice of one thing, something else is being given up. And that's what they mean, the cost or trade-off of a decision. Now, it's not always measured in dollars. Now, there's a personal finance class and a lot of things are measured in dollars, but it doesn't have to be. It could refer to time that you have to give up to do one thing and not the other. Just a silly example would be you have to have a group of friends and you have a family event. The group of friends want to go out to watch a movie and then go hang out, go to dinner, etc. And your family has a birthday party of a cousin or something like that. You can't go to both. So you're going to make a choice. But if you go to one, you're giving up the other, and that's an opportunity cost. Decision-making will be an ongoing part of one's life. Consider the lost opportunities that will result from each decision. Always think, what else can I do except this? And that will give you a more informed decision and less impulse decisions.